Going into the season, there was really low expectations for Onyx because their star player Wheelchair Man was getting rolled in 1v1s, and their new player Heisenberger, he's never played the game before, so he was getting shit on too. They were expected to go like 0-6 or like 1-5 because they literally had what seemed like two of the worst players of all time, pretty much. Alright, so now we're going to be taking a look at the timeline. First up, we're going all the way to week 1 of their season. Now this game was pretty freaking big deal for Onyx. They won by 20 points, the final score being 27-7, with Heisenberger putting up 21 goals, which was that's a big change of trajectory for their season. It made them look like they were going to be like the worst team of all time to possibly a championship contender. Now, in week 2, they played a game against Ronald Reef. That was supposed to be the official game. They won 14-10, but the player who played with Heisenberger, Edwin, he was exposed for cheating using an auto clicker. So this game was actually marked as recreational and not counted for the standings, and it will be replayed the week after. This isn't too important, but right before they had a rematch against Ronald Reef, Onyx would trade for Gatsby, who was a brand new player who was expected to be alright. Now week 3 is when they had their rematch against Ronald Reef, this time without a cheater and having Gatsby on their team instead. And they would give up a 6-point lead, losing 14-13 after being up 13-8, which would set them out to be 1-1 on the season so far. Now after that disappointing loss to Ronald Reef, they would go on to play Terryville and lose twice, with Heisenberger having to play with Philly the first time and Ace Priest the second time, with both of those being really low-ranked players who he's never played with before. He's had to play with 5 different teammates so far. So he hasn't had any time to work out synergy with anyone or had any good teammates to play with. So he's been forced to carry his team, which showed against Terryville, because the first time he had 13.5 blocks, which was the record, and then the second time he had 16, which he broke his own record, so now he has the first and second place single game block records. I'm just not realizing that I messed up the timeline and this is supposed to be after the 2 Terryville games, but this represents when Onyx had to play Nitropolis twice in a row, with both being marked as recreational. The first time they won 18-9, but the footage was corrupted, so there couldn't be video and there couldn't be stats. And the second time, I think it was even worse for Nitropolis. I think it was like 22-6 or something along the lines of that. But that one also had to be recreational because there were substitutes and lag during the game that made it really hard to track stats. Now this is when they actually played Nitropolis, and this is a pretty important game because the former MVP and championship winner from the season before this actually unretired and played in this game for Nitropolis. And this was right after the game with a bunch of substitutions and lag, so Heisenberger was playing really washed and they lost 16-9. Heisenberger still had 13 blocks, which gives him the first, second, and third place single block records, but it doesn't really matter if your team's 1-4 and has really low chances of making the playoffs. Now this is where the inconsistencies and Onyx's ability to get players become a really big problem, because this game was rescheduled like 13 days after it was supposed to happen or something, and they still couldn't get 2 players, so Onyx was forced to forfeit and end the season 1-5 on a forfeit, and not even make the playoffs, not even get to play their final game, because they couldn't get players after 2 weeks. Now overall, with an end to Onyx's season, it's pretty safe to say that they're just a bad team, but Heisenberger alone, he's one of the best players, and he's proven that this season. Having to play with 5 different teammates who are all mid or bad, and still having the top 3 single game blocks, the best single game goals, putting up 50 blocks on the season and 45 goals on the season, that's pretty impressive and shows that he really did have to just carry his team because his teammates were freaking dog shit. Outside of Heisenberger, there's nobody that had a noticeable individual impact on Onyx's season. Wheelchair Man, played in 2 games and put up 10 goals. That's alright. Everyone else that played with Heisenberger only played 1 game, so you can't say too much about them. Outside of that, Heisenberger is the number 1 candidate for Defensive Player of the Year as of the video being made. So that's pretty good for him. Now looking at the future for Onyx, the main thing they need to improve on is they just need to get Heisenberger a teammate who can score some points. Because Heisenberger's been forced to defend the entire time because he's basically playing a 2v1 the entire game. But if Onyx can get someone who can put some points up on the board, that'll take a lot of the weight off Heisenberger and balance it out with Heisenberger being one of the best defensive players paired with a pretty decent offensive player.